Once I made it back again, though, the mission started to go a lot more smoothly.
Alright.
I guess you're right on doing this.
Yep. Nope. Alright.
And that's because this level is completely smashed open from this point forward. By using the ghost, you can park it next to the plasma barrier in the next area, and by getting out of it, you can pass through the barrier entirely. And then, since there are now no enemies anymore, because holy fuck, he just phased through a wall, I know I'm not good enough to fight someone that can do that, you can then run over to the opposite side, jetpack up another cliff, and become the back-to-back champion of your local laser tag tournament. Now, normally after this, you'd have to spend a very long time fending off wave after wave of enemy vehicles, up until you're given the go-ahead to board and destroy the main enemy ship. However, from the cliff we just destroyed the AA cannon from, you can actually jump onto the ship right as it spawns, causing space Chernobyl with a rocket launcher and bypassing quite literally what would be an hour of gameplay in 10 seconds. Thank you. Dude, we're killing it right now. But even that doesn't fully describe how exploitable this level is. Right after another ride in the elephant, you arrive in an area where you're forced to proceed on foot. But rather than doing that, you can instead become the most generic person on Tinder by owning your hiking bike. The reason for this is that once you get to a specific spot, one of the rocks no longer has collision detection, and it just so happens that you can use your jetpack to boost over to the end of the area you're supposed to be fighting through. But despite this being amazing, fantastic, phenomenal, this might also be the only place in the entirety of Lasso where co-op turns into a detriment.
That's a bad teleport.
That's actually really bad.
That's a really bad teleport.
Dude, I have to let you know. Teleporting just to fall to your death because the game thinks you're too far behind may sound funny because, let's be honest, it kind of is. But thanks to that specific quirk, an otherwise trivial jump took us 15 minutes to get past. And it was a bad 15 minutes. Realistically, that was nothing. Especially when you consider that if we landed this, it would fast track us to the easiest part of the level, which could probably be completed by current state of aliveness Vincent Van Gogh. Oh, I hate that you said that. Why is her voice just coming through my left earphone? She is. I took out my left headphone and I couldn't hear her. So it was easily worth the time, and once that jump is complete, you run through some hallways, take a detour into a teleporter, and use the jetpack to get above another barrier. That's all there is to it. It is seriously almost impossible to mess up. A big-ass hallway. At least we can't die here.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. That was pretty obvious when you said that.
No. Once you get to the end, the Chief can finally use his 5-kill streak and calls down a Predator missile on the This is called the most... But because we literally killed 0 people each.
Nice.
Damn. Yeah, 0 kills. There's no possible way it could get easier than this. Well, strap in, bucko. I'm gonna show you how to skip in this mission and just beat it. The following level, then another spire in order to get a spire that takes you to the side deck to make some safer work done. Completely ignore the first 2 spires and fly directly to the third. You only have to do that one. No idea why he left the door open, by the way. Maybe he's Swedish or something. So right after starting, we flew over to the last spire and we're already 3/4 of the way through the level. But regardless, the problem remains that we still had to do the last quarter.
Do we need the Pelican after this?
No, this is quite literally the last area.
Oh, okay.
Big what the fuck? No! The most difficult thing you have to do in this level is the dreaded standard encounter, with jackals, elites, and a duo of hunters all mishmashed together. So even though we didn't have to do much to win, we were still us. Hey, look up.
Oh, man.
And therefore, he died a few times, as is tradition. But despite that, we had also gotten used to how lasso works. Headshot run, smack elites. Honestly, plead with any deity to put the hunter next to a down drop. But we were getting through this even faster than normal. And it didn't take us long to clear this place out like we'd done countless times before. There we go. So even though we did die a few times during this final part,
I was pressing it too.
You own the Halo right now? using a railing and spawn in some elites, then camp at the top of a staircase with the intensity of a blue-collar father trying to get a good game in before he has to put his kid to bed. And that's not even that much of an exaggeration either, because if you can do this successfully, one of the elites just so happens to have a concussion rifle, and I just so happen to be forklift certified. Fuck it. Oh, no, it works! Thanks to what many call halo physics, shooting at the right spot while standing in a specific place on the fork allows you to launch yourself over a door that blocks the way to the next area. And if you don't quite understand how that works, don't worry, this is a bunch of well-educated scientists but apparently, the retribution for this wasn't too far behind us. Just about as well as actually, I don't even know how that hit me. That was so far away. No. Alright. Good attempts. Close to me. On the Z-axis, thanks to an ability to outsmart a being with no brain. That's how you do the world.
Oh, okay.
We managed to take down the hunters after many attempts to the shotgun. Out of the way, we reach a closer from falling into the didactic. Composer is supposed to be the one who his music. Is that right? Music.
Yes.
In order to get to where the composer is located, however, we had to fight through a labyrinth of halls to manipulate two. Now, attempt to use your concussion rifle again to clip out of the rooms, but we couldn't get to work most of the time. person inside the map is just generally not in for a good time.
All right, there it is.
That's okay. I'll keep Overwatch on you. I'll let you know where they are. Actually, I'll be your eyes in the sky. I'm like a UAV.